Welcome to the session of kidney disorders where we have today's topic as acute kidney failure. But defining this term of acute renal failure, before that we need to understand what are kidney associated injuries and how acute kidney injury is related to acute renal failure. So what is AKI, that is acute kidney failure? That is, acute kidney disease is sudden and unusual reversible decrease in the glomerular filtration rate GFR occurring over a period of hour or 2 day. It can vary from few hours to few days. Now the term acute kidney injury now replaces the term acute renal failure. The term acute renal failure should now be restricted to patients who have acute kidney injury and need renal replacement therapy. So, an injury which is requiring renal replacement therapy, that condition is what we call as acute renal failure. Else, we will categorize it as acute kidney injury. So, how do we define acute kidney injury, or what are the parameters for defining acute kidney injury? So first of all, there is an abrupt reduction in kidney function, that is defined as an absolute increase in serum creatinine level of more than 0.3 milligram per deciliter, and that is what we say. We have this reference value. It's more than 0.3 milligram per deciliter. The percentage increase of serum creatinine of more than 50%, that is 1.5 folds from baseline, or we have a reduction in the urine output, that is documented as oliguria of less than 0.5 ml, that is per kg per hour for more than 6 hours of duration. So that you can see the acuteness of the disease, that there is a severe loss of function of the kidney over a very short span of time, and that is why we are terming it as acute kidney injury. Now, the definition of acute kidney injury based on what type of sort of. So we have done some staging also. So staging will let you know that the severity of the disease and how quickly the disease has been established. So we have three stages: stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, and we have a comparison of serum creatinine as well as urine output associated with that. So at stage 1, there is 1.5 to 2 times increase in the serum creatinine level, or 0 more than or equal to 0.3 milligram per deciliter increase from the baseline. Whereas the urine output, we find it less than 0.5 ml per kg per hour for more than 6 hours. In stage 2, we find the increase in the serum creatinine level, which is 2 to 3 times the baseline, and 0.5 ml per kg per hour for more than 12 hours. And stage 3, where the increase is around 3 times the baseline, or 0.5 milligram per deciliter from baseline, or any requirement of renal replacement therapy is present, then we consider it as a stage 3 of acute kidney injury. Whereas the urine output is less than 0.3 ml per kg per hour, or anuria for more than 12 hours. So this is a staging of You can say first stage, second stage, and third stage. And obviously, third stage is more severe as compared to the first stage. Now, looking into the etiology of acute kidney injury, what is the cause of acute kidney injury, or how do we classify the causes of acute kidney injury? So there are three broadly classified terms: pre-renal cause, intrinsic renal cause, or the renal cause only, and post-renal causes. Now let us looking into each type. First of all, the pre-renal cause of acute kidney injury. First, pre-renal cause is volume depletion. And volume depletion of the blood, because kidney will receive blood from the circulating, which is circulating in the vessels, and if by chance any cause which is reducing the total fluid quantity, then that can lead to acute kidney injury. Like we can have renal losses of volume of water, that is in the form of in diuretics or cases of polyuria. GI losses like form of diarrhea and vomiting, cutaneous losses in cases of burns or Steven Johnson syndrome. You can also have hemorrhage, any cause, and pancreatitis may also lead to volume depletion. The other condition that the kidney will receive less amount of blood is decreased cardiac output. In cases of heart failure, pulmonary embolism, acute myocardial infarction, and several valvular heart diseases might also lead to volume depletion. Now let us come to the post-renal causes of acute kidney injury. Ureteric obstruction, and the ureter can be blocked due to some calculi, tumor, or fibrosis, or due to ligation done during any pelvic surgery. Also, bladder neck obstruction can be present due to presence of benign prostatic hypertrophy. It's a sort of cancer of prostate. Neurogenic bladder, drugs might also interfere with emptying of bladder, and hemorrhage, clot, if any sense, and also urethral obstruction like strictures and tumors might interfere with the acute kidney injury. Now we come to the most important point, that is the disorder of kidney or the renal causes of acute kidney injury. First is large vascular, small vascular, and glomerular, interstitial nephritis, and acute tubular necrosis. These are the major reasons for development of acute kidney injury, and that too are originated in the kidney. So if the large vascular gets affected in cases of renovascular disease, renal artery thrombosis, cholesterol emboli, which can be due to recent cardiac catheterization or aortic surgery, renal vein thrombosis may be due to hypercoagulable conditions and nephrotic syndrome. Also, we can have acute glomerulonephritis or disease due to small vasculatures. The first one is good pasture syndrome, which is due to anti-glomerular basement membrane disease. Then we have ANCA, associated glomerulonephritis, vaginous granulomatosis, microscopy polyangiitis. They are other names of ANCA associated glomerulonephritis. We have immune complex glomerulonephritis like lupus post-infectious cryoglobulinemia, primary membranoproliferative glomerulonephritis, IgA nephropathy. We also have hemolytic uremic syndrome and thrombocytopenic purpura, and malignant hypertension might also lead to acute glomerulonephritis. Now we can have acute tubular necrosis or the cause due to tubular, which are tubular in origin. It can be due to ischemia of tubules or due to some toxic effect of certain drugs, crystals, or heme pigment. We can have interstitial causes like due to certain type of drugs, like some antibodies or proton pump inhibitors or non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. It can also occur due to certain type of infections like pyelonephritis and viral nephritis, and certain systemic disease like Sjögren's syndrome, sarcoid lupus, lymphomas, and leukemias might also can also contribute as interstitial factors for development of AKI. Now, when we are assessing pre-renal causes for acute kidney injury, we need to assess about the history of blood or volume loss. We are also would be interested in knowing whether some cardiac failure, arrhythmia was done or not, was present or not, and also sepsis condition need to be analyzed. Well, majority of the physical examination will focus on the volume status, that what is the volume status of the individual, and vital signs like current and preceding the development of acute kidney injury. Neck vein, lungs, heart, mucoid membranes, edema need to be examined. There is no intrinsic kidney damage in pre-renal acute kidney injury. Rising BUN, that is blood urea nitrogen, and creatinine occurs because the kidney are inadequately perfused. So there is no problem with the kidney. It is just that the amount of blood reaching the kidney has been reduced. So there is would be less filtration, and in such cases, the blood urea nitrogen and the creatinine level might rise. Therefore, normal renal physiologic response occur manifested in urine electrolyte that reflect intact renal tubular function. So, in cases where the acute kidney injury or the renal failure is occurring due to pre-renal causes, what how will come to know, although the blood urea nitrogen level is raised and the creatinine level is raised, but in terms of electrolyte, as there would be there is no abnormality with the kidney, the urine electrolyte level might reflect to the actual status that the kidney is functioning properly. Intact renal tubular function in the setting of impaired renal perfusion results in avid tubular reabsorption of sodium. Therefore, low urine sodium and low fractional excretion of sodium and urea in pre-renal acute renal failure or acute renal diseases. So, how do we understand the pathophysiology? In response to decreased blood flow to the kidney by increasing vasodilating prostaglandin. Also, they might be blunted by a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug that inhibit prostaglandin production. Also, there might be a response to decreased renal flow by constriction of efferent arteriole by angiotensin II, which might be blunted by ACE inhibitors. So both these mechanisms that we have stated above is a method of overcoming hypovolemia. Now, what are the tests that we can run? That is, the BUN creatinine ratio is more than 20:1. Urine sediments might reflect of hyaline and fine granular cast. Urine specific gravity is high because of low amount of fluid excreted, as already the body is under hypovolemic condition. So urine dipstick for protein presence is negative, although urinary to plasma creatinine ratio is high. Urinary sodium level is low, and fractional level of sodium is again low. Sustained pre-renal azotemia is the main factor that predisposes patient to ischemia, induces acute tubular necrosis. Prerenal azotemia and ischemic tubular necrosis represents continuum. Azotemia progresses to necrosis when blood flow is sufficiently compromised to result in death of tubular cell. Most cases of ischemic acute kidney injury are reversible if the underlying cause is corrected. We will continue the discussion of acute kidney injury in the second part. Thank you.